Hello, thank you very much for clicking on this video. It's appreciated. I just wanted to give you my thoughts and views on last night's Saturday Night Live finale with Paul McCartney and Will Ferrell. I really enjoyed this episode. I've heard other opinions that none of it was funny. I actually found most of the sketches quite funny, but let's start at the beginning. First thing was obviously you get the cold open. Let's forget that, it was funny. Bloody Will Ferrell played Jeffrey Epstein. Controversial. No, it's not controversial. It was very funny. And then they sang The Two of Us. That's mental. Anyway, then it was the monologue, and Paul McCartney was in this monologue. Chad Smith of the Red Hot Chili Peppers came out as Will Ferrell because they do look extremely alike. Not so much these days, and when they're side by side, not at all. But there was definitely a similarity back in the day. So yeah, Chad Smith comes out, opens the show. Will Ferrell complains about that. Then Will Ferrell takes questions from the audience, and the person he asked the question of is Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney comes up on stage and keeps calling Will Ferrell Chad Smith. Mildly amusing, but Paul McCartney's quite a good little actor. There were a couple of sketches. I found all the sketches funny apart from the Lord of the Rings one. I found them all quite funny. It's quite funny. That's a high bar. I feel like I'm talking too fast. Am I talking too fast? I don't know. Apologies if so. So let's get on to the Paul McCartney performances. The first song he did was Days We Left Behind. And it was really good. Very, very faithful to the studio version that I'm sure we've all heard by now. I don't know if you were the same as me. If you've watched it, I don't know if you were the same as me. But just before he sings, you kind of just go, oh, please don't sound bad. And the fact that we do that is that obviously we're just acknowledging that he's an old man now. But he sounded great. Abe, or was it Aid? Anyway, the normal drummer was not there. Chad Smith filled in. And it was great. Now, for the first time, I think, well, the first time that I've ever seen anyway, Paul McCartney had a bit of help in the vocal department. Obviously, usually the band, give him help. But this time, there was somebody new, and she was at the back, and she wasn't like really, almost kind of hidden, but not hidden. She was there in the back, in the in the shadows. Unfortunately, I don't know her name. Hang on, let me Google it, see if I can find out what her name was. Okay, so this is the AI overview from Google. Paul McCartney didn't have a featured female guest singer on the stage during his appearance on the season finale of Saturday Night Live. However, fans who watched the performance noticed the vocal presence of a woman singing backup as a new member of his touring / backup band who appears to be Ingrid Michaelson. We'll say Mickelson because her name's Ingrid. I'm going to go, it's pronounced Mickelson. But anyway, so we'll call her Ingrid for she was the higher notes that had to be like sustained and have a bit of a tune to it. She would sing. She was singing backup anyway, but she was basically doubling for McCartney on the higher stuff. That was more so apparent in the second song they did, which was Band on the Run. Ingrid was far more prominent in that song. Great rendition. I'm not saying Paul McCartney had a bad voice. His voice was fine. It sounded like an 83, almost 84-year-old guy, and he was still, giving it his all. Bloody love Paul McCartney. I just don't like it when, there's so many versions of Boys of Dungeon Lane coming out. It's mental. He's taken, well, not him. He must know. He must know. Paul McCartney also was in a Three Mechanics sketch, which I thought was very funny too. And when McCartney came on, like I say, I think he's a good actor. They made him do a broken car noise twice. But no, very, very funny. And what he was saying funny, he said like, oh yeah, your steering wheel's on the wrong side. That was amusing. He was great in that sketch. By the way, whilst everybody was so concentrated on Paul McCartney being on the finale of SNL, nobody was looking out for Ringo Starr on the UK version, SNL UK. No, Ringo was on it. Sort of. Okay, he wasn't on it. It was a sketch about Thomas the Tank Engine and the Fat Controller being a fat controller, and it's like, well, that's not very nice. And then Ringo gets involved by calling him, the Fat Controller as well. Waddles away. It was quite funny, actually. Shouldn't take the piss out of people that are fat, all right? Big boned. You never see fat skeletons, though, do you? It's the end of the show. Will Ferrell is, thanking everyone. They do all that bloody hug thing, which I'll never understand. Yeah, well done. We did it. Yeah. Just people shaking hands. Yeah, I saw you. I saw you half an hour ago. Yeah. Oh my God. Nice. Anyway, but this was different. I've never seen this happen before on SNL. I'm not an avid watcher of SNL, but I've never seen just all of a sudden the artist, in this case Paul McCartney, go back on stage and. Yeah, I was surprised to see he did Coming Up. They started doing Coming Up. The credits were rolling over him. Okay, it's the end of the show. But then it just stopped. And I'm hoping that on YouTube, and at the time of me recording this, it's not on YouTube. Nor's the Ringo Starr Thomas the Tank Engine thing, by the way. I look for that as well. But anyway, great version of Coming Up. It was just great. Everyone was, still on stage dancing along to it. And I really do hope that they show the whole thing on YouTube at some point. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Let me know what you thought of the show down in the comments. Please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Last night I recorded the latest episode of The Misses versus the Beatles. That should be up later tonight. And please don't forget to watch the Beatle board that I do with Beatley Tone. Thank you very much for watching. Go about your day, do what you want. I do not care at this point. All right? Go and watch SNL. Go and watch it on YouTube. Ow. Arthritis in the knee. Hurts.